Hello, this week on 5 Brilliant Things, we have Harriet Kemsley. We spoke about squats, dating, dogs on planes, granddads on planes, rear of the year. We kind of went everywhere. It was fantastic.
My granddad used to be in the RAF. He kept his pilot's license well into his 70s.
Was it on the black market or was it legit?
He just kept passing the test.
Did he ever pull any pranks when he was up there?
He'd do loads of tricks. He'd do
I'm having a stroke.
Well, that was the fear, because you're like, he's older now and like, I can't land a plane.
Yeah.
So you're like, if anything happens, this is really bad.
I bet you never put on a German accent.
Flashbacks.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Stay on. No, Granddad, it's 1998. How's your day?
It's been good. I'm still a bit jet lagged, so like the mornings I'm just a bit like, whoa, like I've never
'Cause you just got back from Australia.
Just got back from Australia. I mean, it was on Monday and now it's Friday, but it's still the mornings. I'm just like trying to push myself. Like, this is my second coffee and I'm just a bit like, where am I? What's happening? Who am I? But that jet lag is my kind of natural state. So it's not that dissimilar to how I am most of the time.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? Like,
Yeah.
about the sort of thing about becoming a parent, you realise this is jet lag for 5 years. And then
Yeah.
when you have actual jet lag on top of that, fucking hell. It's
It's brutal because you have a wake up alarm every morning. There's no resting, like caring for yourself. That's just out the window. You just straight back to it. And yeah.
Yeah, it's my son has taken to put his finger sort of in my nose or in my ear. Did you enjoy Australia?
I did enjoy Australia. I'd never been to Australia before.
Isn't it mad that you find your little self, and I'm not implying because you're a woman, like, but when
Yes.
we find
Yeah.
ourselves going, what has happened? Where I'm going to a foreign country to be funny, like it's so absurd, isn't
It's so absurd, and I was to go to Australia. This was mad. Like, I've never been to Australia,
And
then
now you get to travel there to be funny.
I know.
Amazing.
It's completely confusing. Like, it was just but yeah, I did really like it. The audiences there were a little bit more sensitive than I thought they'd be. There was I have this joke where I mention rescue dogs, and I'm not even like slagging off rescue dogs. Like, I just literally like mentioned rescue dogs, and they were so like, they just couldn't stop thinking about rescue dogs, like whenever I'd say it. And so then they couldn't laugh. So I had to really carefully like rephrase it. It was so odd. Like, I thought they'd be more open and.
Well, Australians have a fascinating relationship with dogs because Johnny Depp, when he was still with Amber Heard, he tried to bring his dog in, and dogs have to go over a certain quarantine. And sort of half of Australia said it was fine, and the other half were like really furious. And there was an MP who's called Barnaby Joyce, which is a great name for like an Aussie. Like, I think he's quite right wing, and he said on many radio interviews and TV shows, apparently he said he'd shoot Johnny Depp's dog.
He'd shoot the dog or Johnny Depp?
No, he said he'd shoot the dog.
Oh God, no!
So it
That's
became this
bad.
kind
I
of.
laughed at shooting Johnny Depp,
Yeah.
but not at the dog.
Well, that's the funny thing. Like, half of Australia would have been, oh, that's fine. So you shoot Johnny Depp's dog. Oh God,
the dog.
But
no.
yeah, he sort of became this sort of like legendary figure in Australia because he said he was going to shoot Johnny Depp's dog.
You know the hashtag that news story got?
No.
Hashtag war on terrier.
Oh, is that what it was? Very good. Very good. What is your first brilliant thing?
So my first brilliant thing is so I don't actually. So I've just put small plane. Okay. Small plane. And it's because I don't actually know what kind of plane it is. So there's like a Spitfire. It's like a smaller version of that.
Right.
Basically, my granddad used to be in the RAF, and he flew planes. Obviously, that's what the RAF is.
Yeah.
And he kept his pilot's license well into his 70s, and he'd take us up in planes, and it was crazy. He was amazing. He was really he was quite eccentric, I think. Yeah. And as he got older, he kind of got more and more eccentric. Like, he'd always have these little things happening. Like, he decided that all his his dining furniture should be on wheels. So we'd have like office chairs, and he was like, "Isn't this brilliant? You know, you can just roll wherever you want. Like you can just move it around." And then he'd have like very like specific ways of doing things. Like he'd make you a coffee and it would take 7 minutes and it would go between 2 microwaves. And it was like his like, and he loved to like trick people with vegetarian mince. So he'd like make them spaghetti and then he'd like just watch you like with like really closely, and like I'm vegetarian, so it was like wouldn't work on me, but like on everyone else, and they'd be like, "What did you enjoy your meal?" And they'd be like, "Yeah, I mean it was fine." He'd be like, "It's vegetarian," and they'd be like, "We know." You can really taste
exactly.
the difference. Yeah.
I love that. God, you've really painted a picture there. So he was a flying prankster
A flying prankster,
that was
yeah.
obsessed with being in constant movement. Do you know what I mean? It's just like,
Yeah.
I love that. So I also love the fact that your granddad used to take you up on a plane.
Yeah, it was
That
amazing.
is so exciting.
It was so exciting, and he just kept getting his pilot's license renewed, and everyone was like,
Was it on the black market or was it legit?
he just kept passing the test. I don't know, and you'd be a bit like, I don't know if this should still be happening, you know. And he loved taking us up in it, and it was.
Did he ever pull any pranks when he was up there? Like that, like, this is the wheel! Like that. Granddad, fuck, joking.
He loved to do he'd do loads of tricks. He'd do
I'm having a stroke.
Well, that was the fear, you know, because you're like, he's older now, and like I can't land a plane.
Yeah.
So you're like, if anything happens, this is really bad.
Yeah, that's an awful moment when you become an adult.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? When you're like, oh, we're going in the plane with Granddad. When you reach that age where you're like, what if he dies? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, oh,
what
God.
if something happens while we're up
Yeah,
there?
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I have to
And I'm
land
an
this.
adult.
Yeah.
This is what it feels like.
But he'd do like he'd take you and do like loop the loops
Oh my
and like
God.
corkscrews, and then do those like what's it called when you like plumb it really quickly and then kind of turn it round, and you'd be like, this is like so cool at that
Kamikaze, yeah.
age. Yeah, that
Yeah.
he had that like spirit for life. I think
Yeah.
I really loved it, and I don't necessarily like love flying, and sometimes when I'm on a plane I do like think of him. If I ever get like a little bit nervous, I just think like of the joy that he took from it and the freedom, and I just think it's so nice at that age to still have something you love so much and where you feel so free.
And also, presumably, it would have been like full of trauma as well. So, you know, and terrifying to be kind of flying in the RAF, and then suddenly he's doing it in a joyful way with his sort of
Yeah.
grandchildren.
Yeah.
You know, I bet you never put on a German accent. Do you know what I mean? There's like,
Flashbacks.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Stay on. No, Granddad, it's 1998. Is he still with us?
No, he's
Oh.
not. He's not.
Please tell me his coffin was on wheels.
It wasn't on wheels. It wasn't on wheels.
Ah,
But
that's
no,
all he wanted.
he was very special, and
Yeah, he sounds great.
And yeah, my cousin.
What was your other granddad? I mean, there's real competition there.
Yeah,
Where did he take you? McDonald's?
no, he was a farmer, so it was like
Oh,
there
that's
was like
pretty
that's
cool.
pretty good as well.
Yeah.
You know, there's like there's farms, so they were both brilliant. But they had different attitudes, I think, and I just my cousin became a pilot.
wow.
I think inspired by my granddad, and she now flies planes and stuff, and I just think it's so cool. I never want to do it ever, but I think it's a really cool thing.
Yeah. I've flown a very small plane where the other yoke pops up when you're in the kind of.
Wait, you flown a plane?
No. I was the last to get on on our honeymoon, and I had to go right at the front in the passenger, co-pilot seat. And
In the co-pilot seat?
yeah, and the kind of yoke came up, and it was kind of like moving around me, and you know that feeling when you're like, oh, I'm worried I'm going to throw my keys over a bridge. I see you that, and I raise you that, where your hands are like, God, I want to touch the yoke.
Yeah,
And
the whole way.
I want to do something, but I had to kind of hold myself back like that. It was absolutely terrifying. Yeah, and you don't know the name of this plane. You don't know the specifics
No,
of
I know.
it.
I feel bad. I should know. It was so it looks a bit like those Spitfires. So I think it was probably a plane. So he had his own plane based at Manston. I think it was
Colour?
probably
What colour was it?
I've got photos of it, but I can't remember what colour it was. But it was from the
It's possible it was
30s.
a Hawker Hurricane.
A Hawker.
HAW.
Okay. And
It was just one of those where it has just like a bubble over you, kind of. You're just kind of sat in it, and then there's a bubble. Like,
so are you alongside your granddad or are you behind him?
yeah, you're sat next to each other. Yeah.
Wowzers. And how
Yeah.
many could go up at a time?
So just once, we just take one of us up at a time. Yeah. And then my
Blimey.
mum would just be having a panic attack at the
Yeah.
side. Like, why is this happening?
Eating a Scotch egg furiously on the
Yeah,
ground.
and sometimes he'd fly over when we were at home. He'd come and we'd know it was him because you'd look up and he'd be doing kind of like loops around the garden.
God, he sounds like something out of a Roald Dahl book.
I know,
That's fantastic.
yeah, it sounds like
You just
something.
like see some loop the loops and then vegetarian mince just hits the ground.
Dinner's ready, everybody. Yeah.
Was there part of you that ever thought about flying?
I can barely drive a car. Like I've had a license.
You're dyspraxic, aren't you?
I'm dyspraxic. Me in charge of a plane is not something that anybody wants to see in any way. And someone was telling me as well that like they let you fly it on your own after like 7 lessons or something. It's like incredibly early, like how quickly they're like, okay, so if you just come and meet us over here, like they take you up a few times and then they're like, are you fact checking that? That makes sense that you should though, because I say a lot of stuff and it's like that is absolutely not true. But I think very quickly you're on your own, and I just can't imagine. Like I love the idea of the freedom, and I love the idea of having like a passion and something that you really love, but I don't think I love this enough to put myself in charge of it. And I still have a lot of panic. Like I really like being on the ground. Like going to space is not something I'd ever want to do.
You know Katy Perry.
I'm no Katy Perry. No, I'm not.
What a wild misjudgment of the world.
I know, crazy. I think she's still quite confident about it,
I
which
think
is
you have to.
you have to double down.
You've got to
Yeah.
double down.
When you've used all those resources.
Yeah, when the world is attacking you, you have to just push through, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't. Oh God, it's funny, isn't it? I've no fear of flying because I've just moved beyond it, and then every so often your brain just goes, "Oh, you know, you're in the air and you shouldn't be."
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's such a weird thing. I can't imagine what it's like for people who are genuinely terrified. That being said, people that have comfort animals, what a fucking just an absolute river of shit. But to convince people, they kind of go, no, in order to fly, I need a dog. and someone said, okay, and then that's the thing. You know what I mean?
My favourite was the peacock. Did you see this? The emotional support peacock that
Is that
somebody
right?
took on a
Yeah.
plane. Yeah.
Can you imagine that? Like, and then,
There's nothing less comforting than a peacock, like just walking.
yeah, well, exactly. And it's like, but who designated, like, oh no, dogs are fine with flying. Like no one's ever asked the dog whether they need comfort.
Yeah,
when
the
they're-
poor terrified dog.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The dog's like, I don't know how to equalise my ears. I find it fascinating.
I think it's better than when they put them in the hold.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
these poor dogs are just like, what the fuck is happening? Are we in the air? Like I can't see anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Comedians who fly? Do you know any comedians with pilot licenses?
Bill Burr.
Yep.
Bill Burr does.
Yeah.
Wow.
There's
Eddie Izzard.
is that right?
Mm.
Wowzers.
Eddie Izzard flies. Sir David Jason flies.
No way.
And famously Shazia Mirza.
Of
Does
course,
she?
of course. Very good. That's all right, that. Nice little dismount. She had a very famous joke about 9/11. and
Oh
that's
yeah,
what
yeah.
Dan's-
Okay, yeah. I was just like,
Dan's
yeah.
alluding to. What is your next brilliant thing?
My next brilliant thing is I've just put 2 cats. These are specific cats. I'm vegan and I've always really loved animals. But I am
Every animal?
apart from snakes,
Mm-hmm.
I would if I could, I would probably eat snakes just to reduce the population. Like I would be a vegan that ate snakes and perhaps crocodiles.
I
I'm
kind of
fine
feel
with
that
that.
way about English football supporters that go to away games.
You'd eat them.
Fuck you. Like just to help the world out.
Because of their behaviour. It's so
absolute-
bad. Yes,
Yeah. No, not because they look tasty. No. God, look at him.
Look
Oh
at
my
him
God.
sweating,
What is
covered
it
in
about-
beer glaze.
What is it
Yeah.
about sweat and racism that just makes me so hungry? I think it's a really good approach, isn't it? Like certain things that need to be eaten because the world will be a better place.
Yeah, I think I think someone from the Vegan Society would be very cross
Paps?
with me saying that.
Paparazzi, you'd eat them. I'd eat them.
Yeah.
Particularly those guys that do upskirters. Do you know
Yes.
from women getting out of the cab?
I
I'd probably have
agree.
him with a barbecue sauce.
Yeah, I think that's
And
really
it is a him.
noble.
It is,
It's
do you know
always
what I
a
mean?
him. Yeah, it's always a
very,
him. Yeah.
it's very rare there's going to be a woman going, I don't know, I like running and I like getting photos of growlers. That's me. That's Sharon. You know what Sharon's like? What a job, eh? Just like, do you know what I mean?
Can you imagine that
God.
was such a thing? Like, it's
Mate.
just crazy. They'd be printed in papers
I know.
and in magazines. Like,
Wild, isn't it?
that was only...
And within kind of like, that's like 10 years ago. It was
Yeah,
sort of,
within this, like, century. That's
mm.
mad.
Yeah. Heat magazine, it was kind of like,
The circle of shame.
yeah. But that still exists. It's still fascinating, isn't it? That kind of, the worst dressed. And it's always women, which is fucking ridiculous because I refuse to believe that, like, it's always men. Men are going to be the worst dressed at any function.
But they're not wearing anything. Like, they're all wearing the same thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there's like less to pick from.
Yeah. But it is funny though, isn't it? How
Yeah.
it's still, kind of as if anyone cares.
I know.
But maybe they do. I don't know.
Yeah, it was such a thing. Like, I used to read those magazines and like it just show like be like, oh, look how wrinkly her knees are.
Yeah.
Like, it was just so weirdly specific.
Yeah, like rear of the year. Do you remember?
Yeah,
that? Like,
yeah. Is that still happening?
I
Rear
don't know.
of the year?
Let's check it. Is that still a thing?
Carol Vorderman won like 9 times or something.
Yes. So
It is.
Rear of the year.
Oh, let me. Whoa. Let's see if we can guess.
Okay.
After I've just said it's disgusting, and suddenly we realise why it works.
So Rear of the Year
Was
a British award for celebrities who were considered to have attractive buttocks.
Right. I love it's such a British way of now, like, sort of revisionist history. It was about the buttocks.
It began in 1976.
Okay.
The first winner was Barbara Windsor.
Right.
Yes, a worthy winner.
Well, but her ass was often overlooked.
Ours was overlooked by her breasts. Yeah.
You mentioned,
She was delighted. It's nice to be recognised as something other than my tits. Rest in power, Barbara. What?
You mentioned Carol Vorderman.
Yeah, apparently.
Yes, I did. Yeah.
2014 joint win with Ollie Murs.
Wow.
Oh.
So Mers has sort of snuck in. Has he been around for that long?
Frank Skinner won it in '98.
Did he really?
Wow.
Wow, isn't that extraordinary?
Wow.
Anyway, the final one was in 2019, won by Amanda Holden and Andy Murray.
So the COVID killed it off. COVID killed off Rear of the Year.
Exactly.
So much we've
God,
lost.
Exactly. Isn't it funny? Like, we never really realised the true toll of COVID.
Yes, until now.
But I love the fact the last winners were Amanda Holden. And so is that a male and female category, or was it joint? Like, so
Did they bring in male later? That's what I want to know.
Their token gesture to woke.
There we go. Yes.
Or is it that what they're suggesting is if you had the left buttock of Holden and the right buttock of Murray, you would have had the perfect 2019 arse? Is that what it is? That you're just like, oh my God, it's so dour. Oh my God, it's so bubbly.
Amanda Holden's left buttock could never win, but her right is a strong contender.
Yeah,
It was
exactly.
97 when they chose to introduce male.
Yeah,
categories
they're like,
rather than
oh, this isn't looking very good. We're gonna have to get drag the men down with us.
But
So funny.
fair play, they had a good 20 years.
So to bring it back to cats, what?
Sorry, I'm so sorry. How do they judge it? Do they make them stand in a room, or do they have photos? Like, how does it get judged?
What it's like at the opticians? Do you like this arse now? And now? What about now? And you're like, it's shapely, but it's a bit too aggressive. I don't know how they judged it. I presume it's a bit like Heat magazine used to have like weird crush of the year, and it was sort of like whoever was hip at the time, I think. So, but Andy Murray is a surprising victor. But that was 2019 would have been his kind of Wimbledon sort of pomp and all that, I think. I don't know loads of women, but I don't know of any woman that's gone, fuck, you seen the arse on Murray? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, when he
I don't know loads of women.
Do you know what I mean? But I can't imagine when he lunges.
Well, he seems very like PG, Andy Murray. Like, it's not like you feel a bit odd kind of objectifying him because he wouldn't like it. It feels rude.
Who do you feel comfortable objectifying?
Oh, well, Channing Tatum.
Oh yeah,
he's...
I mean, but that's his job, isn't it? Yeah.
His job is professional objectified. Yeah.
He's sort of a male wiggler. Like, like some women kind of like wiggle their tits. I bet Tatum does that to himself.
Yeah,
like,
he's in the mirror going.
Yeah.
Do,
Just
do,
like
do.
exactly. He does the tit
Yeah.
dance. Yeah. My brother can do that, and it's really unsettling. He can do it with both of his pecs and his kind of muscles. He's not particularly
Wow.
muscly.
It's very like 70s
It's
kind
amazing.
of. Yeah,
But what's funny about it, he kind of does it. He goes do like that. To people that don't like it, so he'll do it to my wife.
to people that don't like it.
He'll do it to my wife. My
Only if
mum.
they hate it will he do it.
Well, that's
yeah.
it. Because he's not, he's wonderful, my brother. But he's not like, he's not a Tatum. He's not a classic. He looks like a Tater, not a Tatum. But he'll kind of just sit there and do that, right? And it's really silly. And but I've often tried to do it and I can't. I don't know how you do it.
Oh,
so we'd have to check with Tatum.
Yeah, well,
Listen, we are
going to
get to these.
genes. Yeah, we must talk about
We're
the
going to
cats.
get back to these cats
Yes.
that kills us.
Yes. So I'm technically quite allergic to cats. But me and my housemate, when I was 22, went for breakfast, and we came back with these cats that we'd got from this woman in Stratford. These like tiny kittens, and
Did you eat them?
we did not eat them. No, we did not.
Did you have breakfast?
We'd had breakfast,
right,
and then
Christ.
we saw these kittens advertised, and we went to Stratford and we just got them and we brought them back. And that's 22, really not thinking ahead in any way. But we had these two cats, and I think they were quite inbred. Now that I think back, like they had a lot of health issues, but they were just the sweetest things. And I think at that age, like I was living in London, and I just like felt a little bit lost, and they just brought so much joy. Their names were Iola and Joby. My housemate was slightly eccentric, and he wanted them to name themselves. As he bought a book of names, then he got them to point to their own names in the book, and so that's how they got named.
They're quite nice. Iola and Joby.
Iola and Joby. Well, apparently, so this is quite tragic when you look back, but apparently he said in hindsight, so Joby died when she was only 2 because she had these brain problems. But she was like, she had so much character in those 2 years. But he said after she died, he said that she had so Joby means the persecuted one. And he said that she had pointed at Happy, but he was too embarrassed to call the cat Happy. And so he moved it down to Joby. And he was like, I feel like I've manifested this because I wouldn't just let her be happy.
Jesus.
Yeah.
That's hectic.
Yeah, pretty hectic.
And do you have cats now?
No, I have a dog now. I have a Cavapoo who's very sweet. Like he's got a lot of love to give, and he's quite exhausting, but he's like incredibly sweet.
What's his name?
His name is Sunny.
Did he?
He
choose
did not
that?
name
Right.
himself. No, he didn't. I didn't keep up the tradition of them naming themselves. But yeah, they just had all these problems. Like Isla, in the end, she had all these stomach issues, and then she ended up only being able to eat lamb, and so I was having to cook this lamb twice a day, and I was ending up like feeding her a sheep a week.
Oh my
and like
God.
as a vegan, it was like this real like kind of juxtaposition of like I'm having to slaughter all of these sheep in order to keep this cat alive. Like this
Yeah.
feels like a bad I don't know situation.
So what you miss? Is it a nostalgic thing for these cats? Does it sort of remind you of your youth, or was it just like the comfort?
They were just so sweet, and they had so much love, and they just really kind of like found me at a time when I was a little bit lost. And I think as well at that age, like you're in your 20s and you just don't really know what you're doing, and then to have these kind of like these little things that were home, and I did have to move out for a bit, and then they stayed with Sam, but then I ended up living in like one of those comic houses that was like basically like a squat, there's like really bleak ones, and then it was like, this is not the standard of living here, is too bad for a cat, and so the cat ended up staying in Shoreditch, and then I had to wait until I could move somewhere that was like fair to move an animal into.
So wow, that is. So you were living somewhere that was unfit for an animal.
Yes.
And how was your comedy career going at this stage?
It was the point where I left my day job because
Just
the
ring
rent.
your agent's like, I've got you a gig, and you're like, does it have a shower backstage?
Yeah, literally.
Yeah. It's funny though, isn't it? Who were you living with? You say were you living with other comics?
Yeah, so loads of comics have lived there at different points. Sophie Willan lived there for a bit, and Johnny Pelham and Tim Renko. It was just this house in Streatham, and it was, I think the owners had kind of like disappeared, and so it was just being managed by this letting company, and it was in South London. It was £200 a month.
Wow.
But I was there for 2 years, and I don't have many memories of the place because I think I've just blocked it out because it was so bleak. I think my body is trying to protect me.
What is your next brilliant thing?
My next brilliant thing is my Casio watches. So I'm sure that you. Oh, that's not
That's a
Casio, is it?
Fitbit,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I started wearing these watches I guess 13 years ago when I started stand up, and I now have 3 of them, and they never tell the time, which everybody finds really annoying. But you just need them to time yourself when you're on stage, and they all somehow manage to have an alarm that goes off at different points throughout the day. Every single day, 3 alarms go off somewhere in my house, which again, people find really annoying, and they try and change them. But for some reason, it just comes back on again. And so I'm constantly having this watch that beeps, but it just makes me think of stand up, because it's kind of the one thing you need for stand up is just that you can kind of just turn up with a watch, and that's it,
And was it like a little vibrate, or was it an actual
No, they don't vibrate. It's just
the
the clear plastic ones. The alarm is just beep 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 beep, but that's just by accident. That's not meant to happen. I literally just use it to time my set. So I just press. It's just like a muscle memory thing. You just press start when you will go on stage, and it just begins.
And F91W.
Oh, is that right?
Classic Casio.
It's just got the small thing, and then it's got I've got a blue one and a pink one.
3 buttons on the outside, and that's it. Really
Yeah,
normal.
yeah, that's it. Yeah.
What do you have a problem running over without it?
No, but I like to know where I am in a set. There's I think do you use a watch when you're on stage?
No, but I really like it when there's a watch on down by the front by the speakers.
When there's a little
big,
timer,
oddly,
yeah.
the timer. I kind of like that. But I always really struggled with kind of times, and would I kind of got quite lucky really that I would sort of somehow fluke it, but I never had watches when I was younger. But I wasn't really in that world of having to do you got to do 20 minutes. I wasn't. I was doing lots of universities and supports lots, so it was kind of fine really. So you still have the same watches from those 13 years ago?
Yeah, I update them now and again, but they last so long, and and I've tried other ones. I've tried having Apple watches and stuff that are a bit more, but you have to charge them every day. And there's just something so reliable and comforting about them. And they're 20 quid. And they just, I like to know where I am in the set, because it's so weird. You can do 20 minutes over and over again, or an hour. And just sometimes you check your watch and you're like, how did it get to this point? Or how am I only 7 minutes in? Or how am I nearly finished? I don't know how I don't have a better concept of time at this point. Also, going between set lengths, sometimes you have 5 minutes, or I find it very difficult. And so I need to know. And I'm very conscious I never ever want to overrun, because you see hosts and stuff that are I have to get the last train, and then Russell's on, I'm fucked,
It's funny that, isn't it? How old were you when you started doing stand-up?
I was 23.
But did you know when you were 23? Presumably you knew when you were 21 that you wanted to do it, and it took
No.
Oh really?
No.
So what made you do it when you were so young?
I've said this before, but it's a bit I've not met another stand-up that has the same story. I was doing acting, and I thought I was a serious actor, but everyone would laugh, and I'd be I'm trying to convey something serious, everybody. And then my parents watched Live at the Apollo one night, and then the next day I'd been doing little bits of writing and I kept doing more comedy acting, and they were we think you should do stand-up. Mad things always happen to you. We think you should do it. And I was it just felt so alien. I'd seen little bits of comedy, but it was weird timing where I'd been working at the Lyric in Hammersmith, and they'd started to do a comedy night.
Yes.
And so I once a month, and so I'd been ushering, and I saw Sarah Millican and Tony Law and I think I started to be like, oh, comedy is not just what it was when I watched TV when I was younger. Like there's other things, but it just felt so alien, and it felt so rude to think that I was funny. Like to go out there and be like, I think I'm funny, and to say that to all the people you grew up with, and then they were like, just do it and don't tell anybody. And so I kept it secret for ages, and I just went out and I did it. And the first gig I like felt sick, but after it finished I was like, this is it. Like this is the thing. I've been trying to do things where I don't really fit in, but this is my world.
But it's also fascinating that it was your parents that suggested
Yeah,
it.
like everyone else is like, you should be a doctor or something. And mine are like, we're running out of ideas. Like, try stand up, I guess.
But isn't that funny? So, and what did your folks do?
So nothing to do with it. My dad was a farmer, so like nothing to do with it. And my mum was a mum, and they don't know anything about stand up at all.
Do you know who they were watching?
I don't. Yeah, that would be really interesting to know who they watched.
I talk about knowing your daughter.
Well,
to kind of go,
I think the thing is, I was like so shy when I was younger. Like I was like chronically shy, and I found it very difficult until I knew someone very well to like relax. But I could always be like comfortable with my family, people that knew me really well, and so they would always see a side of me that other people wouldn't. And my mum would she'd sometimes play the role of like a kind of talk show host or something at a dinner party, where she'd be like, Harriet, what was that story you were saying about you the other day when you were in the shop? And then I'd be like, oh no, but she'd like set me up to like tell the story, and then she's like, wasn't there another detail about that happened? And so I think
I love doing that. It's my favourite thing, honestly. So my I'll do it very often with my tour manager. If I've got like if he's meeting new people, I'll just push him towards. Remember that time you were on the private jet with U2? Tell him that story. Like that. And then he starts telling it, and then I become that arsehole of a guy. You're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
And then
it's not landing this time, actually. It was the details.
I remember setting up the one of the guys from League of Gentlemen. So I did that Alan Davies show. It was like comics backstage, and I was talking about they had the League of Gentlemen had a Radio 4 show, and there was a guy called Dr. Chinnery. And I used to listen to it over and over. I loved that series. And I was like, oh, remember that? And he started doing it. And I was like, you're doing it wrong. But I'd listened to it so often that I knew he'd got it wrong. It was this bizarre moment where, obviously he couldn't remember his material. And it's so funny where, like, I've had that happen to me where people go, oh, remember that bit you did? And then you kind of try and replicate it. But you can't, you have no access to it. It's so funny. I used to love that. Did you have like comedians that you loved growing up?
No, this
really?
is it. I loved comedy. I loved comedy films. I loved
like what are we dealing with?
And I loved Mighty Boosh. That was something that I really loved, and I loved Green Wing. And
so what era is that? That's like 2006-ish.
Yeah,
with that?
So that was
mid-noughties.
So that was the stuff that I really loved, but it was less. I just didn't know about stand-up. It just didn't feel like a world. And I think in New York, I'd gone to like a proper comedy club, but it was like all men just bragging, basically.
Yeah.
It was, and so it would never have occurred to me that was a world that I could be in. And so I think what's really nice is like growing up now, I would have, if I was growing up now, I'd be able to see people like me, I think.
Yeah.
Much more.
I think like broadly speaking, American comedy is fascinating because it is that even someone like sort of Seinfeld, who isn't like an alpha per se, his kind of comedy still is, I'm the expert and I saw these idiots doing this. Can you believe that people like this do this? And it's very kind of like high status. Whereas British comedy, again, broadly speaking, is like, oh, I did a thing. Have you done, like, oh my God, I'm such an idiot. So, so I think even watching kind of American comedy would be kind of intimidating because it's quite lofty sometimes.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's kind
absolutely.
Of, it's a bit of a generalization, but I think, you know what I mean? Like, particularly in those New York clubs, it's kind of New York, there's a tiny stage and you've got to be the guy and you've got to have your chest out. There isn't really much room for, I made a mistake. You know? Yeah,
that's me just wandering onto the stage, like looking the wrong way.
What is dyspraxia? Like, you sort of mentioned it earlier, and I'm sort of curious.
It's so I think.
Did you get like a special desk?
No, I didn't know when I was at school, but I think I should have like.
Because one of my cousins had a special desk.
What is a special desk?
Like, he was dyspraxic and dyslexic. And
Oh, dear.
my favorite story of him, he was playing in goal once when he was 8, and his dad got this beautiful kind of West Country accent. Was like, he's in goal, right? And the other team, they've shot the ball over the fence, and he's jumped over to get the ball, and he's gone. He must have been gone for about 5 minutes. He's come back. He's just got a pine cone in his hand. and so that's my only. Like, that's what
Yeah,
distracts
it's like that
you.
every day, basically. Yeah, that's it in a nutshell. That's it.
Is it getting distracted? Or
It's
what
like
is it?
it's like a kind of chaos energy, I would say. It's like it's mainly like so it's like a physical thing in that my body does not move in the way that perhaps is like a calm, stable way. Like my
Right.
movements are a bit off. I'm breaking things. I'm falling over. But I think also your thinking can be a bit confused. It's like it's not completely linear, maybe. Like when I was at school, like I wish I had known at school. But I think it's maybe good that I didn't know, because you just develop a very thick skin and you get very good at laughing at yourself, which is really helpful for comedy. And you kind of fail a lot, like over and over again, because of the mistakes that you make. But like at school, I just one teacher like banned me from homework because I'd just lose the sheets, and so she was like, fine, you don't have homework. And then I was like, well, great, I don't have to do homework. But actually you're like, that's really unhelpful. Like I wasn't doing it on purpose. I just couldn't keep control of all of the things I needed to. Like things would just get lost and misplaced, and yeah.
Fascinating. What, like, it's not great teaching. Just you don't have to do it.
She thought that I was doing it in a malicious way, I think. Like
I
it was like,
see.
oh, she can't even be bothered to look after the sheets. But it was like, I'm trying my best here. I'm completely overwhelmed.
Can I ask a question?
Kushkin.
Of Harriet.
Yes.
Do you think you'd have decent coping strategies if you ended up in a terrorist prison?
Christ, that's a question.
Oh my God.
You don't. Do you know what I mean? Don't get that on other chat shows.
Yeah, this just came in from left field.
Fucking right.
literally.
Yeah, you never had that on Parkinson. One of his producers lean in and go, how do you think you would have got in Guantanamo Bay? Do you like orange?
I think I'd be I'd be awful. Like I'm very.
Put her in a suitcase. Well, like, what are we dealing with? Like, what kind of question is that? What made you ask that?
Yeah, what have I said so far that's
Yeah,
made you ask this question?
The Casio watches that you're so beloved of
Yeah.
are a sign of being a terrorist. So they're the watches that are used in bomb making, so much so that there used to be a signal to people entering America that was someone who should be taken away. There are at least 12 people in Guantanamo Bay who are there just because they were wearing that watch.
Are you serious?
Not just because they were wearing that watch,
Yeah.
but partly because they were wearing that watch.
Wow. They've got
Because
really.
I have been questioned a bit actually when I've gone into America, but it's often because I've forgotten the visa and stuff. So I think it's unrelated, but I'm often
Classic
wearing those
terrorist.
watches. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But again, you know, it feels like a funny film. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? Like the terrorist.
Up, goes to
exactly.
New York to make her living. Yeah.
Oh God, she's blown up the wrong place. Bam, 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 da, bam, 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 da, da. The forgetful terrorist.
Just watch yourself.
Isn't that
Yeah,
fast?
thank you. No,
So
that's
Casio,
helpful.
So Casio
God.
do time, terror, and keyboards. What a combo! What is your next brilliant thing?
My next thing is a snowboard. So this is, people don't expect this about me, but I love snowboarding, and I think there's something about, because being dyspraxic, I'm not particularly good at a lot of sports. I was not on any sports teams, but there's something about a snowboard where I think because you're attached to one thing, it's like I'm better at snowboarding than at walking, because there's nothing to move.
You
It's
make
like,
sense. Yeah, you're like a penguin. You make sense.
Yeah, I suddenly make sense. Yeah, put me on the snow and I make sense, but just on a pavement, it's chaos. Yeah, I absolutely love it. Do you do it?
No. It looks fun. Have you done those? Is it altitude?
No, I've never done altitude, but I did my first ski gigs in January. I went to Maribel with Lou was on as well, and Tatty, and it was so good. It was like, it's been my dream since I started stand up to do like be able to do comedy and snowboard. It was like
So when did you get into snowboarding then?
So I used to ski, like I'd go with my family, but I was not particularly good at it. And like the thing is, there's just like too many things. You've got poles and you've got skis, and they're all in like in a big muddle. And then when I was 11, this doesn't really make sense, but I skied into the mountain. So usually people are going off, but I went into it. I was on this kind of like narrow path, and there were all these bumps, and I was building up more and more speed, and then I turned to the right to like stop myself, and the skis went smack into the mountain.
Wow.
And it on my knee was just like in so much pain. But then no one believed me in my family, because we used to go with my granddad as well. My granddad, David, that flew the plane, he loves skiing as well, and no one believed me that my knee really hurt, and so they made me ski the next day, and I was like, guys, it really hurts. They're like, okay. And then it turned out I'd damaged the ligaments in my knee, and I was on crutches for like a month, and I was like, well, I did try and tell you. And after that I started snowboarding, and that's when I like found my thing. You just feel like, I think that's like my version of like a plane. It's like you feel like you're flying. It's incredible.
You instantly just felt like I can do this. I get this.
Yeah, the thing with snowboarding is it does take a little while. Like you fall over a lot, and I think it's harder. Whereas with skiing,
But for you, that's fine.
For me, that's
like,
normal.
oddly,
I think that's
like,
the thing, and that's with comedy as well. It's a similar thing where like you have to fail a lot. Like you have to it's embarrassing like at times, like, but you just have to. And I think it's a really good life skill to fail and fail and fail until you fail less and you keep doing it. I think some people are so put off by that and so worried about being embarrassed or being a bit like cringe. But luckily my life, I'm constantly embarrassing myself. And so it means that you can push through it.
Have you ever done surfing?
I've tried surfing, but it's like, I think it's just such a short window. Like you get up and then you go over a couple of waves and you're like done. I'm like, what's the point? Whereas with snowboarding, you really like get into it and you're in this like kind of like zone where it's like being on stage or something, that like flow kind of state, I think, where you're just completely
But I guess that's a good point, because you're up and you feels, because I've done surfing once and I caught a wave and I felt like I'd kind of conquered nature for like sort of 4 seconds. I was like, whoa. And then it was over, but it felt great. So to actually be, you're kind of on top of it going down the mountain must feel incredible.
Yeah, I do like wakeboarding as well. I haven't done that in a while, but yeah, it's just
What's going through your brain when you're like? Do you sing to yourself? Do you like? I'm sort of just thinking. I think I would be. Sort of, I'd go to like, I think.
I listen to music.
You listen to music?
Yeah,
right.
So I listen to like Cardi B or Run DMC, and
yeah, it's got to be upbeat. You can't if it's too melancholy.
Yeah. You want
then
something.
Then you're gonna hit the mountain again.
Me and Lou we went to Heavenly in Lake Tahoe, which is just like, that was always like a bucket list kind of thing, because I'd only ever been to Europe. And
what is Heavenly?
It's it's hard to describe it. It's heavenly. It's Lake Tahoe. It's just kind of on the Los Angeles Nevada border.
Yeah.
And it's this ski resort where you're skiing down, and then there's just this Lake Tahoe. It's just the most beautiful thing you've ever seen in your whole life, and it's just the beauty of it. Just you're doing something that's like so fun, and you're so free, and then you're just surrounded by trees and snow and mountains, and it's just there was a long period when like I couldn't go very often because you didn't have money and you're like living in a squat, trying to do stand up. But then now I really try, and it's like my one hobby, I guess. It's like the one thing that's outside of comedy, although now you can do it doing gigs, that is like a thing that I get such joy and satisfaction from, just like going really, really fast down a mountain.
Have you, or will you do it with your daughter, do you reckon?
Yeah, I think next year I want to teach her.
Great.
Yeah, have you seen those videos online of those toddlers on snowboards? It's the cutest thing. There's these little videos and they're the little toddlers like, wee, it's like really cute. They've mic'd them up.
Have you snowboarded? I can't imagine anyone.
No, because you can't do it in a jacket and cords.
Yeah,
so I'm not interested.
Yeah.
Snowboarding originally called by a different name.
Oh yeah.
When it started, it was called snurfing.
No way! Oh, that makes it way less cool, doesn't it?
Snow surfing.
Oh,
They tried to
Snurfing.
call them snurfers.
okay.
I hate
And
that.
it didn't stick because it sounds so disgusting.
It does. Yeah, it sounds like a nasal infection
does,
or something.
yes.
Yeah, that's bad.
Where have you been? Smurfing in France. What is going
I
on?
find the people in ski resorts quite objectionable.
What?
Yeah, in America there's more boarders, which is good. Like I like the boarding attitude, not the skiers. Yeah.
Yeah, it sort of feels like, broadly speaking, it's weed and cheese. Like, do you know what I mean? Skiers, cheese, boarders, weed.
Yeah.
What is your next? Your final brilliant thing, I believe. Is it the final one? It is.
Yeah. So my
Sorry, I'm
final
looking at
brilliant thing is I put a baby hat, but it's basically my daughter. I think she just is the best thing that's ever happened to me. Like it's like it's such a weird thing, like having a child, because it's something I thought about, I think, every day for the decade before I did it. And I think it's very hard being a woman that wants children, because there's a real window around it, and you're trying to build a career, and you're trying to find yourself, and you're trying to get some kind of stability where you have like you have a foundation where you can have a child. And I think for a long time I just never thought that I was a together enough person like to have a child. Like I was kind of like living in chaos. And then I thought about it kind of like every day, like, should I do it now? Should I do it later? Like, when should I do it? Because I got diagnosed with polycystic ovaries when I was 23, and so it felt like a real thing that I had to do like soon. Like they were like, don't wait too long. And then when I had her, it just completely changed my life, and I think it was like for the better completely. And I think it's been a really helpful thing to kind of become the adult in a way. Like it's something all of these things like with it I should have been able to do on my own, but she's like taught me all these lessons just by kind of being there.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? Like, it's changed my life. Like, I wonder if there are people who go, oh yeah, it's the same. Like, but it's
I just got to get up earlier.
Yeah, but even that is such a difference. It's kind of like, I was talking to my wife about this the other day, but I've had 45 years of being able to wake up at 10 o'clock, you know, and go to bed whenever I want and not have to worry about that. So it's so strange to kind of get into a sleeping regime.
That's completely it. Like, I think getting out of bed used to be like hard. Like, I'd lie in bed and I'd like really like, oh God, you know. And then now Mabel, every morning she wakes me up, she goes, it's morning time. And like that's my alarm clock, and it's the most joyous, like wonderful start to the day. And I
It also sounds like a really good vehicle for Alison Hammond.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Just
Yeah,
like,
let's get
it's
that on
morning
ITV.
time.
Yeah.
With Alison
She
Hammond.
jumps out,
Yeah. Do you talk about your daughter when you do stand-up?
I talk about her a little bit. I just never want to be negative about her in any way.
Absolutely.
I would find that really hard. She just
Can you imagine? But what's interesting? It baffles me that there are so many comics that are willing to do that. Like that, just to win over strangers for an hour, you're gonna
throw your child
you're
under
gonna
the bus,
sell your child down the river. It's sort of like whenever you see someone doing that kind of sub Louis CK stuff, like this one's a prick, and you're like, really? You've nicked Louis CK stuff, like just the material, but then also it just feels, at what cost? That's going to be on telly. Like,
imagine growing up and just going on YouTube and then finding your mum slagging you off.
Yeah.
Like, that's such a weird life, I think.
A friend of mine, and this is the perfect story for any stand-ups that have kids. He was doing a show, and his wife was looking after his son. His son would have been about 4 at the time, and it's like a 400-seater, and his dad is on stage talking about him. So this kid's walked into this gig. He's at the back of the room like a hobbit in the prancing pony with all these kind of adults. And he's like, and in his head, he's like, Daddy, like that. And his dad's being kind of animated and everyone's laughing, and he's 4, kind of like that. And then he starts telling a story about the boy. And the boy's like, huh? Like that. And then everyone is laughing at the boy because of a thing that the boy said. But the thing the boy said wasn't true. The dad was lying. And he was shouting, no, I didn't. I didn't. And he can't be heard because the laughter is so big. And so then the next morning, this comes to pass. The comedian finds out that his wife let the son drift into the gig. And the boy says to the comedian in a very somber voice, "It was just so unfair." And when you hear that, you're like, okay, we all have to work a bit harder. But it must feel so amazing when your child does something truly hilarious. But if it's kind of negative, there is part of you going,
Yes,
oh,
I know. Well,
did you
that's
have
it.
to eat your shit in such a funny way? You know.
I'm sure that kid will just forget that. Like,
Yeah.
it won't.
Yeah, that won't scar them forever, and they'll always just feel like they're yelling, "That's unfair! I
yeah,
can't
yeah.
control anything."
Can you imagine
Drowned
that?
out by laughter.
There's 400 adults laughing, and you're 4 going, no, no.
That child is going to end up leading the Conservative Party. That's what's going to happen there.
Yeah, gosh. So school is the next thing.
School is the next thing.
Oh,
Yeah, it's all just crazy. Yeah, she's a little lady. She's funny. She's got little bits. Like, she can really like tell when my mum says that whenever she enters a room, she kind of like starts waving. She's like, "Mabel's here." Like,
great.
she's got this.
Well, she speaks about herself in the third person.
Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah. But no, it's just the best. She just like changed my life. It raised my standards in so many ways of just like what was right. Like, I got divorced when she was like 1, because it was like, oh, this isn't right for her. Like, this isn't the environment that is the right thing for her. And so by having her, it let me kind of see what was right. And so it's crazy that I'm kind of learning from a toddler. Like, I definitely should have worked these things out on my own. But
What was that like? That must be, and you don't have to answer this, but that's a huge decision. Like, when your daughter is 1.
yeah, it's been a bit crazy. Like, I started to try and date again, and I was on a date, and then the guy was like, "So wait, in the last 2 years you've got a dog, had a toddler, and got a divorce?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's a bit of a year." You know what I mean? Yeah.
But I like margaritas. But I still like to dance. So what is that like, sort of like dating again? That must be strange.
It's so strange.
Are you on the apps?
Yeah, it's taken me a couple of years.
What's that celeb one? Are you on
On Raya.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you on that?
Yeah, you're not supposed to talk about it. I never really liked it, because it's just like men with their tops off on yachts. And it's like, I have nothing in common with these people. You know what I mean? Like, they're doing the dance that your brother does, you know?
But he's doing it on a pedalo, and somehow it's charming.
But yeah, I'm ready now. It's funny. Yeah, I started a podcast with Amy Gledhill, very funny Amy, who's a good friend of mine, about dating. So that's added a kind of
Oh God.
that's added a kind of thing to the mix. But it's been really nice in that we've both
So the potential people that you're going to date, do they have any idea?
Yeah, the podcast is doing quite well, which is maybe not great for our dating life.
Because you're reminding me of a story. My brother once went on a date, and based on the conversation that he'd had with this girl, like, so he meets her, and she gets a notebook out, and my brother goes, "What's this?" And she just goes, "Oh, like, when I go on dates, if anyone says anything funny or strange or weird, I just like write it down." And my brother's like, "Check, please." Like that. I'm just kind of going, there's no way any of this, because this is like, my brother's like, I'm in like white hot, like fight or flight mode. I will say anything to impress you. Put that fucking book away.
Yeah.
So the question I'm asking is, so the people you're on dates with, you know, there must be this weird part of you, because obviously you want to meet somebody, but if it's terrible, it's going to be a good episode.
Well, this is it. I think it's kind of nice in that it pushes me a bit. Like, when I was in Australia, I like did a little bit of dating, and I don't think it was like, no, do it. Like, push yourself out of your comfort zone. Like, do it. It's
because
like,
that's probably what you need in your life, is an Australian partner.
That's just to add to the
Yeah,
chaos
exactly.
as I need. But no, it's been really nice in that we've got a buddy, and it started like kind of like a community of like people in their like 30s and 40s and in their 20s, you know, people that are just like haven't found their person yet and just kind of trying to be happy in what we haven't. The joke is often on ourselves and kind of what we expect. Like the whole first series, we really struggled to even get any dates. So that was kind of the running joke.
That's so funny. That's so
A
great.
lot of comedy podcasts, it's like these really confident like women that are like, yeah, and then I did this with him, and me and Amy are like, I don't even know what to say on the app, you know.
That's
It's
so
so
funny.
it's
It's a
I
travel
think,
podcast. Where have you been? Wow, we haven't been anywhere yet, but we're planning a lot of it. It's so great.
so I think that's
So when you
been it.
finally had a
Yeah.
date, you're like, we got it, we got one.
We got one.
so
But the
funny.
joke is it's always on us. Unless they were to do something like terrible, then we're not going to be like making fun of them or being like, oh, they wore this and it was
Yeah, yeah,
disgusting,
yeah.
you know, like it's not like that at all. It's more just about the experience of it and how like just completely discombobulating the whole thing is.
What would be a perfect date? I wouldn't know where to begin.
I know. I don't know. Well, I think the thing is, especially if you're meeting someone from an app, you just want to get in and get out. And so often it's like, I don't want to give up an evening with my daughter in order to go meet a stranger. And so I'll often I mean, not often, like I'm only just doing this kind of stuff, but I'll like have a drink like before or after a gig, because I think you just want to get in for an hour and just see if there's a vibe, because it's very difficult on the apps to even realise what someone is like and whether you click. I must not date another stand-up. So that's very, very important. Yes,
Yeah.
very. I need to get that tattooed on my hand.
I really enjoyed that. That was so much fun. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.